What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of COVID Community. My name's Taelor Gray.
Armond, wake up. What's going on, y'all?
What's happening? Yo, we have another dope creative with us, a real good friend of ours. And man, look, I don't know if it's too early to say this, but I would say friend of the show.
I was gonna say, is he the first reoccurring guest?
I think so.
Yeah, he is. Because he was
Yes.
on season 1.
The homie, the artist extraordinaire, Terrell Tres Carter.
What's happening? I'm excited.
Yes, bro. Yes.
I'm excited, bro.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Yeah.
Excited too.
Another wave.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into that wave. We have to get into that wave. So yeah, man. I think, man, the dope thing about us coming together and doing this together is the fact that we have these conversations all the time, and it's like so many veins we get into. But I don't know, man. Like I wanted to ask, like, just kind of as a transparent moment, like what was our last social media post? You know, what was the last thing you posted on social media?
Me?
We going around the room, bro. So we start with Armond. Then we're gonna come to you, and we're going.
That's so convoluted because it's like, on what account?
Answer for the account you care about the most.
Oh, I got a fit off.
And we know what account that is.
I got a fit off on Model Ministry, and then I posted it on my main account and said, I got a fit off.
Bro,
Nah,
I absolutely noted that.
I got this off. These are great shots. I got this off.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
And Instagram is the account you care the most about.
For sure. Out of the three, because I'm more visual lately. I don't really want to talk.
So you're still in the Trinity. Like the 3 is.
I mean, like, I'm on TikTok, but like I don't touch it because my daughter is somewhere like looming in the shadows, like doing her thing. And I'm just like, I don't want you to come across, or vice versa, because she be in the house making TikToks. I'm like, I don't want to see this in real time.
You just hear the footsteps upstairs?
I hear I hear mad loops of, you know what I'm saying, clips over and over. I'm just like, nah, I'm not doing this, dog. I'm not doing this.
Oh, you should just hate on it one time. Like, stop making all that noise.
No, don't think I don't. Like, come on, man. I'm black dad. I'll complain about noise and I turn lights off all day. That's my thing.
Yeah.
You know
That's a viral moment in waiting. So
for sure,
that's what's up. Trace, what was the last thing you posted, and on which? It was
on Instagram.
Okay, is that the most important platform?
To me, yeah.
Okay.
I think so at this stage for what I do.
Okay.
And I posted a video of me playing with the Oculus.
Okay.
Like, I gotta, yeah.
Okay.
The Quest 2.
Okay. I mean, what you gotta? Okay. How did you get that opportunity? Like, that was a nice flex.
I mean, bro, I just had an epiphany, bro, that I'm behind, bro. The Oculus Quest 2 came out last fall.
Yeah.
Oh, and Facebook for the past 6 months already been hosting they virtual meetings in Horizons, full virtual reality.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's such a learning gap just to be functional with the tech, let alone leveraging it for your businesses stuff. So for me, bro, it's like freshman year college orientation, bro.
How'd you feel about it? How was the experience?
It's absolutely overwhelming, breathtaking. I mean,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, my bad.
For the audience, could you break down Oculus?
Oh, yeah. So Oculus Quest 2 is a virtual reality headset. It's Facebook's.
Okay.
They really lean into that particular. They develop content, games, software for it. But it's revolutionizing our world, and I would venture to say that it's transitioned our ages, bro.
Yeah.
So that's what I posted. Just flipping around with that.
I posted on Facebook last, I think. And honestly, what's most important to me depends on the day. Today got to post about the murder charges that were filed against the killer of Casey Goodson Jr. And the officer was arrested and charged with murder. And this is something that people have been waiting for a long time, especially in the city. It's made national news, and people have followed it for quite some time. I was a part of a protest. Well, I wasn't a part. I was the protester.
You were the protest. When I saw that, I immediately thought of you and was like, yo, in real time, you would just now be cutting your hair. Bro. Maybe.
Bro, do you realize what you would have? That would be...
You would look like Frederick Douglass.
Bro.
Cornel West.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up. And I thought about that. And the only thing that could have derailed that kind of a protest for me is what happened with moms.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it was sobering to remember that first half of the year and the experience, because I told Terrell about that, like, you know, the decision to do it and why, and the conversations that it would spark. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the beauty of that form of activism, where the conversations, like I'd have meetings on my calendar and sit down next to or across from somebody, and they look at me and say, you still haven't cut your hair, that's still going on. And it would be like, man, this, I can't believe it's taking this long. Mm-hmm. And they're frustrated with the way I look. You still nappy? Like, you know, really, I could feel that energy from people.
Yeah.
But the conversation would then veer into the issue, which is the exact point. Yep. So here we are at step one, stage one of that. And Facebook, man, I still use Facebook. You know, I'm still one of those guys who I think a lot about, and I think of Facebook in a higher light than most people.
It's still it has the most people on it. It's still the grandfather of social media accounts. You got to pay homage to it.
I hate it because everything I post just gets buried to hell. I don't get any engagement on anything I share unless it's a picture of my family.
Because you don't share your opinion, like you said.
If I share my opinion, it's on Instagram stories. Mm-hmm. It might be on Twitter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really go Facebook for the opinion.
Facebook is a different nuance now. It's definitely more familial. Like I noticed that when it is my wife, my kids, here's an update on my life, you know. But I also, when I started Facebook, it was 07, 08. So the people that follow me there, I don't know if it's the same for you.
Nah, like my fan base or whatever have completely taken it over. Like I rarely see my family. I see a bunch of people that I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, that's so real. I mean, look, man, the thing to me about Facebook is it is the hardest to front on Facebook. It's the hardest to hide something real about your life on Facebook,
because we've been on it the longest.
Yeah, and we're comfortable. Like, if you let it all hang out on Facebook, you'll post an unfiltered photo, or, you know, somebody's grandma will say something weird, and it'd be like, there's no front, and it's like you don't even feel the need to get a fit off on Facebook.
Yeah,
because you scroll past a family man who's talking about the Bears game.
I told you I got a fit off a few years ago on Facebook, and some girl hit me up asking if the clothes were like, you know, what is that like when stuff is like how fast fashion, how like, was it recycled or whatever that stuff was? She got into that bag. DM? Yeah, it was, no, she left a comment. That wasn't a DM. She left it for the world to see. Like, are those clothes made with this kind of fabric that's been washed in recycled paper? Like, nah.
And that's refreshing to me, because that's not a person concerned about the cool.
I've never gotten a fit off after that. Nope.
And that's why I like Facebook, because it's like the everyman is on there. So let me ask this question to y'all. Is it important for artists to have a presence on Facebook? Because I have an answer, or at least I have an example to make the case, but I want to know what y'all think.
I think that an artist at worst should have an account on every major social media platform, even if they don't use it, because somebody could take your likeness and go to town.
Okay.
As far as presence, I think Terrell's probably better suited for that than me, because I've just decided, like, I hate Facebook. Nah, I'm just gonna go Twitter, Instagram, and maybe TikTok.
Yeah, man. I'm an interesting, like, with that, because I do social media and study it, spend a lot of time and money, resource to just be up on it, so that I can do it at a high level for others. You know, I've spent a lot of time giving the best of my energy in social spaces to other accounts, and giving mine like in the crack time, I don't even really plan out what I post. It's just like, this is what I'm feeling. So I think if I'm thinking of artists having a social media presence on any platform, I think it comes down to knowing who your audience is and where they play, because I think Facebook is more geared to that mid 30s to late 40, you know, still they heavy there. But if that's your audience, they speak a different language. You know, you appeal to them differently versus if you're targeting the 17, 18-year-old. Like, you probably don't need Facebook, like, as far as being active and like, go follow me there. Because they're on TikTok and, you know, Instagram, et cetera. So I think it really does come down to knowing who your audience is and how you relate to them and finding the platform that allows you to do that effortlessly. Because some platforms just really aren't, if you conducive for who you are naturally, and you have to become something you're not. And I think we live in an era now where that'll get you burned.
That's good, bro. I mean, just so many things come to mind when you were breaking that down. And I mean, listen, we are all artists in our own right. We are all rappers in our own right. So like, we're trying to figure this thing out for our own individual platforms. And then even now we're in these conversations of how to do something together collectively. You know, if we're going to be locally sourced, locally focused, excuse me, and then develop like kind of a place here for creativity, a hub of sorts that inspires other people. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Like, because as a person who was born and raised in Columbus, Ohio, it's not like it's something that I feel like had been developed as a place of creativity or inspiration necessarily, at least on the map, so to speak. Like, all roads lead to Columbus for creative inspiration, you know, artistic expression. No, I don't feel like that's been the case. But now I feel like we're on the cusp of that. Yeah. If not there. Yeah. Already. So, I mean, you have to think about how different social media platforms play into that. So, again, all of us here are rappers. Terrell, by the time we release this, you would have put out your new mixtape. And before we can go all the way into your bag of expertise in terms of audience, how to build it, identifying your audience, all different stuff, I got a simple question for you, because it's something I ask myself, something I would ask any other rapper. What do you feel like you have left to say?
So I'm gonna answer that question, but I gotta start you where this crystallized for me, because there's nothing more that I've done in my life than cut hair and write rhymes. Okay, I've been alive for 31 years, and by sheer volume of time, I have the most invested in those. But you know, my career, when I dropped out of school, you know, there was this balance between, you can chase your dreams all you want, but if you get a real opportunity, boy, you better seize it. So when I was at Chase and in those environments, right, like, in order for me to navigate that, there was a bit of sacrifice of self, you know, still flex it whenever, but I wouldn't go all the way in it, because I also knew that the way I'm looked at and perceived, I was already out there with the way I dressed. I also can't be on Instagram talking the way I talk. You know, you see what they did to Malcolm and Markham. But my thing was like, bro, I am this person, but I also got a wife who I'm trying to take to a certain place. And then I go to hair school, and 90% of the people around me are women. So there's a whole other part of me that is sacrificed. I'm still writing, though. You know, I put music down for a bit to really focus in when mom died, and I had just started hair school, was newly married. I knew I couldn't really have this second side hustle if I still wanted to have a healthy marriage. And it all changed for me, bro. May 25th, 2020, bro. I'll never really fully grasp how much that changed the trajectory of my life, watching George Floyd die on the internet, bro.
See, you were the one who you saw. Me and Armond, I haven't seen the video.
I didn't watch the video until September, but just the clip and then the thumbnail. Like, I saw the picture and then the narrative around it, and as it began to come out, and bro, I mean, I was processing simultaneously how, you know, Juneteenth happened shortly thereafter. So I like embraced, like, what is Juneteenth? And it like really sat in the fact, like, my great grandparents literally, if they wanted to document their story, bro, it was illegal for them to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And like, for some reason that really hit me hard. Like, cause I had a friend of mine who was telling me how the journal that they found from their great uncle and found out that they were a entrepreneur and it made sense to them. It was this whole awakening for them. And I'm sitting there like, dang, how many stories that are in the grave, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Like literally we setting up parameters where you don't get to tell your story, bro.
That's facts.
And so in 2020, I'm having this epiphany and I just get a glimpse of my 6 generations from now, my great grandson, bro. When he gets of age and is able to consume, bro, I'm documenting my story and stories around me because they will be there 6 generations from now, even when I'm not. And I just feel as an artist, especially during these arduous times that our world is going in, like to be able to take the emotion of the era of the time and communicate it in artful ways that inspire people, bro. I got my great grandson in mind.
Yeah.
This is what it looked like in 2021. This is what being a husband looked like. This is what trauma processing it looks like.
Yeah.
And that's what it's for me.
So there's more stories to tell. I mean, it's time for the rappers to rap. You know, that's how it felt when we were talking about that. It's time for the rappers to rap.
Yeah,
man.
You know, and I don't know, man. Like, you know, we talked about what 2020 was for us. Like that timeline that you gave, like, you know, shortly after George Floyd into, you know, Juneteenth.
Bro,
that's when we dropped the first.
That's why I tell you, right. We dropped Black Jordan's 1 on Juneteenth. And I remember when Juneteenth was considered like a joke of a holiday, like we celebrate Juneteenth. And now all of a sudden there's like this awareness of like the depth of it, even the depth of getting us to look at it as a joke of a holiday. But then when you understand like the root of it and what the meaning of it is, you're like, oh, no, this is very important. We have to preserve this. You know, that just speaks to layers and layers of, you know, indoctrination and other stuff that I'm not going to get into right now. But in a sense, like 2020 was a time where like artists are prophets. And so we have to speak to the world and where it is and where it's going because we see where it's going. And however we communicate that in various ways, I think that was another thing that not only were we rappers, I think we have all evolved into artists because now we're expressing ourselves in multitudes of ways. When we get fits off, that's art. That's expression. That's saying something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but to your point, it always comes back to that thing that you've put the most time into. And for, I think, all 3 of us, it's the bars.
Yeah, it's part of it, like, you know, because we do take time to think about the fits.
Absolutely.
You know, like it's a science.
Bro. I destroy my office and my bedroom just trying to get it together. It's pathetic. I'll clean the house up and then my wife will just sit there and just watch me. My daughter now just sits, my 8-month-old just sits and just watches me. Nah, that's not the right sock. My kids make fun of me. Like, yo, we was playing charades and they like put on 2 different shoes. And they was like, who am I? It was your dad. Like, come on, man. Don't play me like that.
Bro, I feel bro, did you hear, bro? Because especially in the Christian circles, bro, like I was, you know, I just always like to express myself through fashion, dude.
Yeah.
And, you know, I get in the Christian space and it's like you feel like you're supposed to repress that part of you or act like you ain't good at this.
Or
1,000,
yes,
1,000%.
And or you have to justify it with some like ministry. The caption has to be a scripture or something you learned in church today. No, my nigga, I just wanted to get the fit off.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. And I wanted to get a picture.
And I wanted to get a picture. I wanted to get a couple pictures.
Yes.
Now we got reels. I want to get a video.
Yes. Yeah. But when you look at it as art, it's different.
Exactly.
It's different how you engage it. Like, you know, that's. So, man, you know, oh, man, there's so much I could say about this, especially as it relates to the church. But for you, well, for you, Terrell, like here's the interesting thing for those of you guys who don't know this. This is the interesting thing for me is I've been knowing Terrell for like over a decade now. You know what I'm saying? So I remember this was Streets the Beast. You know what I'm saying? The license plate was on the Cuddy. It was on the Cuddy. You know what I'm saying?
The
like
Lincoln, bro.
It wasn't a Lincoln. Bro. It was. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. It wasn't a Cuddy. It was a Lincoln.
Lincoln town car, bro.
Lincoln
first car ever.
And now you back full circle.
Back
you know,
full circle. It activated something.
I've known Terrell for so long, like these progressions of exactly what you're talking about right now. I now, in my memory, have preserved how that journey has looked for you. So when I ask the question of what do you have left to say, and you talk about the urgency of the moment and the stories we have to tell, man, 11 years ago, what felt urgent for you was to talk about the faith in such a way that actually represented a raw expression that we typically don't hear. Yeah. Like, you know, Terrell's early Christian raps, that's its own documentary. You know what I'm saying?
They're tough.
Rap, hip hop will die, rap will survive. That was the rally cry.
That was the T-shirt, bro. It's in public.
And
hip hop will die,
bro. And I wish Armond knew us back then, because you would have had so much to say. Like you,
oh my gosh, bro,
you would have had.
I was naive, bro. I was knowledgeable because I consumed the Bible, bro, but I just haven't lived it, bro, at the time. But that's all, you know, what happens.
That's a vein.
That's a vein. That's a season. Like,
yeah.
I don't know a Christian who ain't did that a couple times.
So is it that required? Like, okay, so here you are today in the space you are and your process in the world or whatever. But if we rewind 11 years ago for all of us, you know, 10 years ago for all of us, feeling urgent, an urgency about communicating our faith looked different, sounded different. Like, what was that at that moment? If you were just to rewind to the zeal moment, because it's almost like every rapper who is a Christian has this story. You know, I remember when Jesus is King came out and you said that was Kanye's like zeal album.
Yeah, that was his CHH album. It was. And I said Donda was going to be his gospel album, and I was right.
And I still rock with Jesus is King because, again, okay, let's bring context to ourselves. Armond didn't grow up in the black church like I did, you know, and so that was a modernized gospel record.
Yeah.
For me, you know,
sure.
So but then your context is because the content was so blatant. It was CHH.
It was the writing of it, not the because I loved the Sunday service and the choir and all that stuff. It was beautiful, but when I would listen to Kanye rap, the corniness of the raps was like, okay, this is his zeal album. I just got saved last month, and I read one scripture, or I read a couple scriptures, and they smacked me in the face. I got to write about it. I have to do this. I'm a Christian, right? So this has to be my content when I'm getting these bars off.
So we talked about this in a previous pod. That's where you were at first.
Yeah. And
you had to get, you know, you had to go through the gauntlet, and we had to kind of say like, that doesn't sound great, but you know, like it like the initial
season 1.
Yeah, that's
hear that story.
The zeal bar. Yeah, season 1, we got to the zeal bars, but Rap Will Survive was a different vein. It was like that you were forming what you had to say, and even in that early stage, I think you were still communicating uniquely it was an edge, because you know you starting to talk about your testimony incorporated popping pills. You know what I'm saying? Like, that wasn't in Christian rap,
especially in 2010, 2011, because Cats was really doing it.
Back
then, not Christians necessarily, but that was the thing. In that during that time. So.
So talk about, I guess, that space though, like, you know, because we can get into the bag of why it was not the best idea to go that hard in certain messaging, but there were good things. Yeah. You know, like there was I think real creativity happening.
Yeah.
In the crib, you were at your crib recording that joint.
Yeah, bro. Shout out Marlo, bro. We really
shout out to
just
Marlo.
no cap, bro. That whole Rap Will Survive joint, bro. It was November of 2010, and no, 2011 actually. November of 2011. We had no plans of dropping a project that December, but he and I, we just were praying about it. We fasted together, bro. Came out of Thanksgiving and recorded the whole joint. And
remember fasting, y'all?
Hey, it's on the tool belt.
On the tool belt. Go ahead, bro.
But the audacity to say what I feel, and I don't care who hears me. What you gonna do? Kill me? I think that it was the tone of that record that I've tapped back into with this record.
Yes.
And like, I think for me being able to, you mentioned like artists being prophets, bro. Like I pulled up a quote from Toni Morrison, bro. She says, when speaking of arduous times, like when the world's going crazy, she said, this is precisely the time when artists go to work. There's no time for despair, no place for self-pity, no need for silence, no room for fear. We speak, we write, we do language. That is how civilizations heal.
That's facts.
That's fire.
And so I think at the time, my personal life was in such a disarray. My life had changed.
Yeah.
And the audacity to tell it the way it was. This is how I felt. That's where I think Rap Will Survive, what made it different is like, because you could feel the authentic, you know, even if I disagree with him, clearly he believes this.
Yeah, we rocking with you.
Yeah. So,
and we rocking with you because of that energy. And, you know, in Christian spaces, especially like kind of as it relates to performance art, it's like, you know, you resort to either just preaching extended clips during your music set. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not doing the music, you're preaching through like each song on the set list. Yep. Or like you know, you're in this place of almost kind of like the contrived testimony.
Yep.
You know, like, but it didn't feel that way for you. It felt like still fresh. You know what I'm saying? Like you still had touch with the streets. And not like in the I used to kill a, you know, like it was more like I feel that desperation. You know, I still feel that you know, that anguish or whatever. So I guess
I'm just thinking about like all the time. I'm just thinking about all of the cultural things that like Christian rappers felt like they had to do. Like make some noise for Jesus. After
that's the safe
over.
button. Yeah. Safe button. Yeah.
Like, yo, the crowd ain't feeling me. All right, y'all, make some noise for Jesus. Like, well, we kind of have to.
Bro.
We have to.
Bro, I'm proud to say, you know, I probably only pushed that button at least once or twice. Because I felt bad every time I did it, because I was just like, I need some time to think. Like, that's the reason I tell people, make some noise for Jesus, so I had some time to think about
what do I preach next? What text do I go to in between this song?
What's the next song? Do I remember the lyrics? Make some noise for Jesus. All right, you know, it's a sound.
Yeah, go to the DJ like, all right, what we doing next?
Oh, y'all don't love him? Come on, give 30 seconds.
Give it 30 seconds. So I can really know.
That's funny.
But no, I don't think I ever remember you doing things like that and people was just hype. You know what I'm saying? Like it just, it felt fresh, but it also felt dangerous. You know, like, and I'll break down what I mean by that. It felt dangerous because there is a suppression. You used the word suppress before. In Christian spaces, we suppress a lot. Absolutely. Emotionally. And really good art makes us start to come alive.
That's right.
And feel things. And so the energy you brought made people feel stuff and kind of like get out of their religious bag.
Yeah.
You know, and so that was kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, like it's something that, I mean, I know Armond can speak to this because of the kinds of spaces that you would be in and the energy it attracts.
Yes. Which lane do you want?
I mean, bro, like,
because it attracts lots of different things.
Okay, so of course we're three men sitting here, and one of the top 3 sins you hear about earlier in your Christian walk is lust.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? You're always told that, you know, this thing is just going to catch you up in a fireball of passion and sin, and so you got to always be on guard. So as artists, we always tap into, if I could say it this way, sexual energy.
Yeah, facts. When you are doing the right thing as an artist and as a believer. Yeah. So it's not like lust would capture you in this low, dark moment.
Yeah.
No, I just got done. I had a great set.
Yeah.
You know, I preached the gospel, X, Y, and Z happened, but like after the show, I got cornered.
Yes.
And I like this corner that I've been cornered into. So I'm going to entertain this, and I'm going to lie to myself and her and say that this is ministry.
Yeah, bro.
You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
And that's what felt dangerous, because I felt like you could have,
bro,
but what you came out of actually protected.
Bro, yeah, because I was just about to say to that. You remember I was a little bit like out there talking about, yeah, I'm about to be a eunuch, bro.
You told me that, bro. And
I didn't really know what that meant at the time.
Bro. And I'm on the phone like, bro.
But I think I was 20 years old when I came into the faith, bro. I had done it so wrong with ladies beforehand, like literally left to myself, figure it out. And I ruined so many. I feel to this day, bro, responsible. I've watched the progression of certain women when the dreams that they had and where they at now.
Yes.
And feeling like I was a part of that. Like
facts.
So all that to say, when I came into faith, it was cold turkey, bro. I was literally calling side pieces on the phone one by one. Hey, what are we? Done. That's what we're done. Because God said so, bro. Like, it was a very radical.
Wow. God bless you.
It was, and then it was like 3 years of nothing until I said I do. So it was a very hard left.
Wow.
Because I was, and I don't say this to say that you weren't, but bro, I was so afraid of God. Like, bro, I really came to the reality of everything that I've done, bro, and the power that God has, bro. Tiptoe. And I had to personally grow in that. You know, I didn't have a father to reference someone who had complete power over me, give grace and like unwarranted love. Yeah. So I had to develop that with God, bro. But back then, it was a challenge.
I mean, you went into that on your verse for nobody. Like, I got a heavy-handed presentation.
I didn't get
the soft.
I didn't get that at all. Even with having a family present, I had a father that, did not rear me biblically, or even church. Church was something that we did whenever we would go to St. Louis for the summer. And that was something my grandparents did. You know what I'm saying? So we would go for that. And then that leads into other songs where I've talked about, like, no. I've had sexual encounters during service as I got older. So my whole trajectory and viewpoint of that space, I didn't have that fear at all. And the fear became like more of like a mongering sort of fear. Like, because that wasn't that. It was all not healthy. And so I'm now at the age I'm 37, and I'm still trying to like unravel that. So I always tell people to go more of your route. Like, if you can find a way to shut down the studio, like, bro, do it. Run as fast as you can, because you're gonna be cleaning up a lot of mess if you don't. No matter what. You know what I'm saying? But the thing that the other energy that artists are able to tap into actually speaks to the first time I saw Terrell perform and I took notice. So I remember we had a show.
I haven't heard this story, by the way.
I feel like I've told you this before. We had a show at Veritas, and that was whatever. That was the first time we performed together, and I think all of us were on that bill. That might have been.
Did that have John Gibbs on it? Is that
possibly
when John Gibbs?
He was there.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that was like, okay, whatever. Like, I ain't gonna lie, the presentation threw me off. I was like, I'll say this, I was already in my everybody's trash except me bag. and the only Christian rapper, especially in Columbus, who had earned my respect was Cam. Cambino, for those of you who don't know. He was the only one who I was like, okay, yeah, all of y'all are trash, but he's good. You know what I'm saying? But a few years down the line, there was an outdoor show at Linden Life that you did. And when we talk about people holding, it's amazing that you say that as Christians we hold things in, because church, especially the Black church, is supposed to be this emotional expression, this safe space where we can, communicate that. But we hold a lot in. And we were outside, and it was me, and it was Malachi, and it was JB, and I don't know who else was there, but you might have headlined or something like that.
It was a carnival, bro.
Something like that. It was something,
for the community.
It was something crazy. And so, Rap Will Survive had already, like, the way people were talking about it, I ain't gonna lie, like, I was a little like, what? Why are they talking about this like that. Like, word, I didn't hear it. I thought it would have. Again, my rap ego so crazy. And you got on that stage, and when I say you had teenagers, young adults.
Yeah, I've seen this.
I remember his mom was very like, I was like one of my first times seeing your mom like really just express herself in that way. And I was like, for this? And the more I listen, and as I watched the show, I almost felt like a supernatural humbling. And I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
And from that point, I had a respect for you because of the range of people that your art was able to touch.
Yes.
And it may have looked different, but the safe space to articulate that emotional experience to God was there, and people took advantage of it. And I was like, wow.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That like completely that was a humbling experience that I appreciate to this day and that I call on a lot. So now when I hear different artists and new artists, I don't have my arms folded because I remember that day.
Wow.
I feel like I've told you.
I don't think you told me that.
I've seen that too. I've seen that too. And I mean, it's such a perfect segue into the question about audience, because, you know, as Armond said, there is a range that I've seen you be effective in as an artist. As an artist to an audience, and the audience can have children and it can have adults rocking with you. Like
for real, not on some like children's church and we doing it just for the sake of, like, they were really engaged.
And I have my arms folded for different reasons. Like, I'm not making kids jump.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You got to hear these bars. You heard what I said?
These raps.
You heard that entendre?
Complicated. And if you don't, I'm not coming to perform for your children.
Facts.
At your summer camp, at your ministry. Like, you know, no.
Did you do that, man? Did you do that show with me? Actually, I wasn't on the bill. It was like me, Cam, B. Moses. It was Matt. I can't think of that church that's right there on James. And
I know what you're talking about.
You might have been there.
There's a BBS.
And you might have been there too.
I know where it is. I know it. Like,
it's right next to.
We don't need to go there, but it is what it is.
But,
like, you know, we was all there, but he killed it.
Me, you, and people who thought like us. It was the first time I saw that divide of people who were willing to engage kids and people like me who were not.
Exactly. I felt that.
That's fair.
But I felt intimidated by the fact that Terrell could do all of it.
All of it, absolutely.
You know, so now, today, you know, we've gone through memory lane to some degree. Mm-hmm. Audience for you as a rapper, you know,
that's layered though, because he's not just a rapper.
I know.
So,
but you put out a mixtape now, so now you're calling upon an audience to engage with this. Yeah. What does that audience look like, feel like, sound like to you now?
I almost want to add on to that question, but I might be getting in the way of your answer.
No.
Okay, because you went away. Because we didn't talk about that. You went away at the. I remember seeing that because it was after the performance, and I was like, "Oh, he got it." I was really convinced. And then you made the Rapzilla freshman list. Then you put out a song called "Goodbye," and you left. and my
not subtle. Like.
And my experience with rappers retiring, I mean, from Jay-Z on the Black Album on the way down, like, rappers don't retire. And you legit left. Anytime I saw you out and about, you were doing husband dad stuff.
Yeah.
So in that time, you opened your own business, your own salon. You got into your business bag, your corporate bag. You got into your church bag. You began serving in different spaces. So to me, you have now gathered an audience in all of these different spaces, and now you've picked the mic back up. So to me, like, that's the audience that he's speaking to. And these are people who have no idea that you rap. So with Taylor's question, what are you speaking to them, and what does that look like communicating through them, specifically through the medium of hip hop?
That's a really good question, dude. I think I've personally never wrestled to the ground. Who's my target audience as a musician? You know, looking back, music first for me is therapy. So there's no other space I'm able to communicate more honestly than in music. So for me, I think the audience will be whoever is attracted or impacted by that emotion he is talking about.
That's facts.
Because to your point, it might be 60-year-old white woman in the crowd because I do her hair, but there might be 17-year-old boy in the audience because I do his hair, or and it's like to bridge that gap. It's less about me being a rap artist or hip hop artist, bro. I'm really looking at the work that I'm doing, like them speeches MLK was giving, bro. Like he was speaking to the issues of the day in his way of doing it. I mean, he had a one-of-one voice, and so I communicate best with the beat behind me, and my ability to put out oracles that speak to what I'm seeing in the world, what I'm processing personally. And so I feel like the audience is a bit transient in that, depending on what the body of work is, But,
well, I mean, like Armond mentioned, like as artists, rappers, we have egos, what I'm saying? And I don't know if you found the secret trap door, like away from ego, like
right.
If you just like, nah, like whosoever will hear, that's cool. Or it's just like, nah, they gonna respect me. Like these people gonna respect me type of stuff.
I think, man, I was telling you earlier, bro, I just feel so built for this time, bro. Like going back to high school, like I was homecoming king, bro, but I would wear T-shirts over top of a dress shirt and have a tie on that was outside of the T-shirt. Like, but that was my style. I would do it consistently. Bro, I'm gonna find a picture.
Yeah,
bro.
I've seen pictures.
Bro,
you
here, let's make it worse, bro.
Yeah.
I would wear Heelys, bro, and be with my clippers in my suitcase, bro. I had a suitcase book bag, and I would be freaking gliding. But what I'm saying,
That's it.
What I'm saying, bro, I've been, for my life, bro, I've been so committed to just being who I am,
Yes.
bro.
That's
This is
it.
what I want to say right now.
Yeah.
And like, bro, if you don't want to listen, bro, there's a pause button. You can, this one ain't for you.
Yeah.
But this how I'm talking right now.
Yeah.
But that's I mean, again, like I said, it's tapping into something that, many of us don't obtain that level of security. In ourselves, in our presentation, our artistic expression. We are looking for the people who are going to affirm us and are going to rock with us and engage our stuff. It feels like a lot of the energy behind creating involves trying to plan for that. It takes energy away from the thing you actually love, which is the craft. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I know this is dope.
Yeah.
Now what kind of energy am I going to have to expend to convince other people that it's dope?
I shouldn't have to convince you.
I shouldn't have to, but it's not clean like that no more.
Nah.
It's not clean like that no more. So I feel like at the end of the day, like you have tapped into a level of individuality that, first of all allows you to be free, in your mind and in your expression. But at the same time, it's like, the ego part of all of us says, all right, I have to measure the value behind doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like the easiest measure is like how many albums did I sell, or what's going on now is the Spotify. Let me share my wrap up, so I can stunt on y'all with, I've got 2 billion streams. Guess what? I made $2,000.
I just want to thank everyone.
Yeah.
And then you put on the little humble flex, but you're
like all of it, like it but it's ego, like we're in
it's ego and it's insecurity driving you
100%.
to post it.
Yeah. Like and I'm saying it, like if you did it, I can't do it this year. I've done it before, so let me join the congregation.
This is the first year that I have not done it.
Yeah, I'm not doing it, and so as you put your music out on streaming services, do you even think about that part of it?
I've learned, we talked about fasting earlier. Like I hate, however you feel about it, like there's a level of training your body to shut up when I say shut up.
That's facts.
Like, bro,
I'm in control.
I'm in control. So like, bro, I posted my beautiful dying marriage in my mind, this story And like all that it is, bro, it could have went a lot of places, bro. Every single track got less than 1,000 streams, bro. Well, so that's another thing too, what people don't realize is when you post those numbers, like I did quick math for some people, because I was like, oh, you think you flexing. You have this many streams, but this few hours, I already know that you bought. Like how you got that? Like I had 180 hours worth of listening time from 600 listeners, but it was only 3,500 streams. I saw people with like 25 million streams, but like 200 hours of. So that for me, I think that
is that the first 5 seconds.
So mad people listening.
Yeah, whatever they count it as a stream, like they got enough of them.
Yeah,
but you've escaped even that, like. That vein of thinking. That's the point I'm trying to make. And I think it's just interesting for you to feel the urgency of the moment in society, have something to say, but truly be an artist in the sense that, you know, it's like what you said in one of your verses on Jabroni on AT&T. You say they create because it's air. Yeah. Like, you know, you suffocate if you don't create. Yep. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like I'm hearing from you is you refuse to suffocate. You're going to create no matter what.
Bro, especially with that new target, bro. Yeah. On this side, the Rat Will Survive was like just breath of fresh air, this dude's zealous, clearly. Yeah. Something remarkable has happened. Yeah. But now, this music ain't even for real time, bro. In my mind, this is for my great-great-great-grandson. I'm documenting history, bro. I'm doing the work of Luke. Yeah. Luke simply documented his narrative. Yep. Their form was just papyrus. But nah, I got beats. I'm putting my thoughts, my experience with God on wax, bro. So 1,500 years from now, they're going to come across the MP3. I don't care if it got streamed in 2021.
That's dope.
So
that's a different way, bro.
It's a different way of thinking. Bro.
And it's actually kind of encouraging because it's pure, you know, it's tapped into the purity.
Yeah, you haven't mentioned algorithm once.
Yes,
yes. You know what I'm saying?
Because we're all fresh now. That's the ego part. I think we all do resonate with. We're frustrated with. But how that's changed.
Is it ego if you create something fire and only 10% of your followers see it? I don't think that's ego. That's just trash.
Well, they eliminated. If you can control who can see your likes, and you use the feature, then your ego's involved. That's my opinion.
That's one perspective.
That's I just say that's my opinion. Like that's because look, bro, I'm sorry.
That's fair though.
I'm sorry. Like
perspective.
We care.
We
care because we maybe
my reason is it's that, but it's also I don't want to be judged off of that. Because some people will look at the fact of, this has, because I look at my kids. Yeah. And my 12-year-old son who is obsessed with YouTube will say, well, this video has X of millions of views. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So he will ascribe a level of quality and what I talked about last episode. Now this is an authority. Yeah. Whereas he's creating his own videos and he's only getting 10, 20, 30, 40 views and he's recognizing like, wait, maybe that's not the case so much. You know what I'm saying? So I think if I can eliminate the likes and I can get you to look at what I'm doing content. Or listening to watching the content and engaging the content that I'm creating, now you have no choice. Yeah. If this gets one like, it came from you because you thought it was fire.
Yeah. You and others. I like, my mind is quirky as it relates to all of this because it's like I'm kind of like in guerrilla mode where I don't care about the likes. Like that's I'm controlling my body and my mind. That's me, taking back some control and saying like, this does not translate to value. This doesn't translate to value. That's this right. doesn't. And even in the vein that I feel like we travel in, where it feels like we're creating something new, like almost ahead of the curve, you're not going to expect people to appreciate it at its value point if they haven't caught up to it yet. You know what I'm saying?
That's my duck season line. Because I feel like what I was doing 10 years ago is just now what people are getting into.
Yes.
And this is the first time that I've heard consistently from people like, you're ahead of the curve. You're ahead of the curve. And I'm like, well, dang, why you ain't say that 10 years ago? Well, because we hadn't reached the curve yet.
But then that's what I'm saying. In the difference isn't passion. The difference is patent. You know,
the difference between who did and who didn't have. I love that verse.
The invention is there's a person who invents, and then there's a person who profits from inventions.
That's right.
Inventions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then how can I look at like how many people likes this event? Once the big company comes in and says this is the thing for everybody, that's when the likes start pouring in.
That's right.
And every now and then, sometimes I'll look at either a brand or an individual who's built a platform. I'll scroll all the way back to their earliest posts. This is why I like keeping up old posts, because it reminds you of the journey.
Yep.
And you go all the way back down to like their 200 like phase.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how much has changed? You know, is there any of that stuff still there, or has the polish taken over and we don't even recognize you anymore?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I wonder that about my own self. Like, you know, would I start to, that's why I archive more than I delete, because
I don't delete anything anymore. I just
I just like, cause I want to go back and feel that again.
Yep.
And look at and interrogate, like, what was the reason why you was posting that? Are you still the same person? Are you still like, are you changing into this thing that submits to the machine?
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, bro, I'm gonna show my 67 likes. You know what I'm saying? I'm showing it. Like that post did not reach 100. It did not, but all those followers are mine.
Yeah, dude, I think, you know how they say like, and this is real. I think I brought it up earlier, and we can talk about it a little later, but like, you know, I say like attention is currency.
That's facts.
Yeah.
So if that's true, think about how people handle real money and our relationship to debt, like this false sense of how much I really got.
Yeah,
and I think that mindset, that habit in human beings with our money, with attention now, let me create debt or padding around what's really there to give this display of a fuller life. But we are now, we transitioned from the information era into the creator era.
Yeah.
Like literally the way we shifted from agricultural age to industrial age and industrial age to, it's literally this shift where the metrics don't matter because we now have, I've just put the VR goggles on, bro. Like it's cats literally around the world in the same room together because they rock with you.
Yes.
Your social profile is, you know.
Yeah.
So
it was Dave Chappelle last year for me.
Yeah.
Seeing like 200 people in a field and
In the middle of nowhere with no phones.
yeah, bro, like this is it. Like, and like watching the documentary and seeing the fragility of that, like comedians who are masters at their craft get nervous.
We watched Chris Rock bomb.
Oh,
He bombed.
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock. He's my 1B GOAT with Chappelle.
Yeah.
And he had a paper of jokes on stage. Like, man, I don't know what to do. He was completely like flustered. It was amazing. To me, it's the best thing I've seen him do.
Yeah.
I loved it. I think even more of him now, seeing that moment.
Wow.
And the other Michelle Wolf, like thinking more of her now because of her process and having to break through to authenticity in her performance and presentation, because the first impression was you're not funny. You know, like
I don't think she's funny at all.
that was the first. But going behind the curtain, she wasn't funny. It was bad, but to see her humanized in such a way to where she had to go back to the drawing board was just dope as an artist to see.
So that kind of brings up another, something that I want to talk about with authenticity and metrics and algorithm is that now, if we're talking about Metaverse, people from all over the world getting in one room, that's always been a challenge of mine personally, because my fan base exists outside of Columbus, outside of Ohio. I got fans everywhere, like dedicated fans everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, how do I get them all into one space? Maybe this is an opportunity to do so. A lot of these social media platforms, a lot of these artists, these Christian artists, whatever, they may have 20, 50, 100,000 followers, but they can't fill a 100-seat venue. So what happens when you get people in your face? Because we've been so digitized and technology based, we're getting, as much as the metaverse is moving, I'm also seeing real time, face to face. I don't want to have another meeting on Zoom. Let's meet up face to face. I need to see you. You know what I'm saying? So for some artists, they are crashing and burning. For some people, for people with platforms, whatever, they're crashing and burning because they're like, oh my God, I really have anxiety, just as an example, and I can't be in front of people, but I still want that engagement versus other people who are like, yo, for me, I remember going to the mall with my CD and handing it out to people. I remember going to open mics. I remember going to house parties with verses upon verses memorized, waiting for the cipher to pop off so I can perform and essentially audition for all of these other people.
Yeah.
In a way, we're getting back to that.
Yeah.
Yep.
How do you engage that?
Your training kicks in. Like that's what we was talking about. Is the training is you have to. Like you don't, this entitlement era where it's just like, I'm going to curate something that looks so good that everybody's going to like it. And I don't have to work to gain an audience outside of posting a picture. That's gone.
Gone.
That's
It
gone.
was a solid 8 to 10 year run.
Yeah.
But I think that's, how do you engage it, right? There's a lot of unlearning that has to happen because at least for me, I'm a little younger than you guys. I was handed, like Facebook, when that really came in heavy, that was really during very primitive years as a teenager. Like your whole idea of self was for my generation in our time, we were handed a cell phone and there was this split reality. Like your real life is real, but how many likes you got on your photo? And we have been trained that the quality of what I said, of what that thought was, is now predicated on how many people engaged it, which in this era now, because that's done, you can hide how many people liked it, you know. It's all about, dude, do you fix a problem? I think for like, even with art to some degree, I think the best art ultimately fixed a problem, even if it's an emotional one.
That's right.
And so I think a lot of artists don't lean into that. You know, it's not necessarily about how am I going to attract the right people? How do I just be honest and process real stuff? Yeah. And just know that when I do that, there will be the right people that are drawn to that. That's my particular approach for music.
That's right. Yep.
I know you. That's your.
That's a bar.
That's your pulpit.
But that's what we're doing is with these spaces. I mean, even with like a COVID community, the problem that it solves is navigating nuance, because that is something that is new to the church, new to Black people, new to just people in general. It's not either or, it's both and let's navigate that in all of the various ways that we can navigate that. That solves the problem.
Yeah.
You know, simply by saying, you know, the feedback that we've been getting on the project and why I'm feeling more like myself as an artist than I have in the last 5 years is that the response that I'm getting from people is, you know, you said that and nobody else is talking about it. I'm glad you guys are talking about this. I'm glad you said this. You know what I'm saying? Versus, you know, after a while, the bars are there. Like, I know I can rap good. I don't need you to tell me that anymore. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like, my kids made a video for me for Father's Day where they took my favorite song and rapped it and made a video out of it. You can't tell me anything about my level of skill anymore. So now it's like, well, now I'm trying to solve a problem because I see my people captive in many ways, in various ways. You can't even, like, bro, get the fit off.
Yeah.
Get it off.
That's what you're doing anyway.
Yeah,
you care about it.
You care about it. Just do it. And then you ain't gotta attach Jesus or ministry to it or none of that.
Nothing.
Just do it for you. And if that opens a door of ego or pride or something like that, there's an opportunity for you to like engage that. What does that look like? And then invite God into that space. You know what I'm saying? Like that's free. That alone is freeing people versus saying, no, I'm not going to do that. Or no, I'm not going to craft this space open like that to me. So I think you're absolutely right. If attention is currency for this generation, where we're going to is that skill set. One of my homeboys talks about this with me all the time. Like, nah, you're going to have to learn how to do something. You know what I'm saying? Because if we, I'm not getting into a money bag, but like just hypothetically, if the dollar loses its value, like you're going to have to learn how to bring something to the table and barter that. You know what I'm saying? And because this generation has evolved and is advanced now, it may not just be, hey, can you start a fire? Can you rub two sticks together and start a fire? It's like, can you help me communicate with my wife? You know what I'm saying? Can you help me get this fit off? I got this blue, but it ain't quite hitting with the red. Like, how do I do this? You know what I'm saying? How do I asked you a couple weeks ago, like, bro, how do I turn all this into some bread? Yeah. How do I get another stream of revenue from my family? You know what I'm saying? Like that, those are the problems that artists are going to be solving as in this next generation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So folks that's already on it, like we kind of ahead of, like you think you behind, but I hear this all the time when it comes to crypto. Like you think you're behind, but you're really not. You're ahead of the curve. Like it's still early.
Yeah. And I mean, look, so Armond and I kind of, I think we flow within a rhythm of how to present our craft in, crafts, plural, in a particular way that seems like it has harmony and it flows through the vein of hip hop culture and social commentary in a palatable way. You know, I think one of the most interesting things about the way you create is you don't flow through conventional veins that blend together easily.
That's facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like you talk about the different, it's almost like if I look at you and say, you know, when you become a CEO, you'll have bars. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not something that you put in the same sentence. Like the CEO has bars.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that can create like this, I don't know, disorientation for people who feel like, I don't know how to engage with both of those things well, or like, where do I figure out how to enjoy those things in the same space? And you're answering that question. Like, do you talk about the tension of that?
Yes.
Like, how do you explore that?
Yes. Good question.
It's a good question. My mind, as you were talking, I'm thinking of King David, bro. Who had more bars than him, bro?
Facts.
Cats today, thousands of years after he penned it, got his words tatted on their body, bro.
Yeah.
While he was the king, bro.
Yes.
He was killing people.
He was the king and he was the head of the military.
And the chief musician. Like I'm strumming out here putting words together.
Yep.
And I don't know, Mo. For me, like, I just really feel like a one of one, bro. And I also don't feel the pressure to make it make sense for you in real time. You just gonna have to see it when the movie over. Like if it don't make sense right now, bro, just keep watching. Like that's a piece.
Yes.
And I think our mind, like just the human mind, it's desire to quickly put things in a box and compute fast and make decisions. You know, I think we tend to do that with people very quickly. Like, oh, I met you in this environment. I heard you say 2 or 3 things.
Yes.
You know, I have 20 minutes total of engagement with you, and I've already attempted to classify you and never think about it again.
Yeah.
And that's not me. I do think too, for a lot of comparatively, I think one thing that I'm realizing that's different about me than others is the audacity to pivot.
Yeah. The audacity.
What do you mean you were just a bank fraud investigator? What do you mean you're about to go to cosmetology school?
Yeah.
And I think for most people, like, they don't want to deal with I don't really have a perfect answer for you, so I'm going to just stay a banker.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm like, bro, this is what I'm on. I'm just more in touch with this. And, you know, I just live my life that way.
That takes courage though, bro.
Absolutely.
It takes courage.
It does.
Like, because it takes courage, because there is audacity. Audacity and courage, you know, it's an undeniable correlation. you know, because to be audacious is to essentially not necessarily care what people think. You know what I'm saying? So it takes courage to venture out in that way, bro. I remember when I left my corporate job to become a pastor, they looked at me like I was crazy. Like I was headed towards, I mean, I was already making some nice money, but I was a sales executive headed towards, my trajectory was the executive team with the company, you know, and for me to, right in the middle of my prime opportunity, prime age, prime networking, you know, capacity, I say, nah, I'm about to go to the ministry. Like they like, you know, make it make sense. Nah, you make sense of it while I'm over here exploring it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they never knew that I rapped. Like, you know, so it was like they were at all at once, like trying to respond to this information, try to put it in a box, like you said, and compute something. And I'm like, look, man, I'm not here to teach those equations. Like, you know, you're going to have to like make sense of it while I'm over here. You know what I mean? Because I'm gone. Yeah. I'm literally gone. And I think that that's dope that you push for that, bro. It's tough because of how we are wired. You know, we are rhythm creatures. You know what I'm saying? Whether we want to admit it or not, like certain rhythms have we've been socialized into. One of these things is not like the other, is the Sesame Street song. You know, where you're taught,
I never
like,
watched Sesame Street, by the way.
In your life?
I mean, not enough to know what you're talking about.
You never watched Sesame Street?
I know who Big Bird is and Bert.
Come on, man, don't do this.
Name
Ernie.
5 Sesame Street characters.
Big Bird, Bert, Cookie Monster, the guy in the trash can.
Nah, what's his name?
Yeah, look at his face.
Hey, bro, I was watching Fresh Prince and porn, bro. I wasn't watching no.
At 5?
I ain't watching Sesame Street.
I'm telling you, bro, unbridled, bro. Rugrats.
Nah, bro.
I skipped the Sesame Street.
You
phase,
straight
bro.
up did not know Oscar's name, nor
Oscar,
did you
yeah.
mention.
You said Ernie, but you didn't say Bert?
No, he
I
said
did say
Bert,
Bert.
but
You
didn't
said
say
Ernie?
Ernie.
You ain't say
I said
Elmo?
Big Bird.
You didn't say Elmo.
Bro,
That's where I was stuck. I'm like, Elmo's World?
I'm sorry.
Like,
yeah, that has no.
Dang.
There are
Elmo
no.
taught my daughter how to use the bathroom.
Fam, there's so many social lessons. I mean, we seen the Chappelle show, like his Sesame Street characters.
I see it.
I almost said a line. I can't say no lines from that skit.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But nah, like it's one of these things is not like very early on in life we're taught which categories fit, you know, like what pictures belong in the same column, you know, like you can't mix these things because they're different and they don't go together.
Right.
You know, and you're saying why?
Well, I felt that, bro. Like, man, we probably ain't even got enough time to go in this the way I want to, but I see it most clearly in our educational system.
Facts.
Yes.
That there are millions of students that go through this system, and you mean to tell me it's one test to determine
That's facts.
the value of said student? It makes as much sense as getting every animal in the forest together and saying, all right, if you want to go to college, how do you swim? Some are more adapt for that.
Bro, I'm a hamster. You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of question is that? I'm a hamster.
And they literally will say, well, sir, you got to go to summer school. We got to get you.
Now they'll just put you on. Oh, the hamster needs drugs because he has ADHD.
Yeah, he's afraid of water.
And that's so terrible.
He's afraid of.
Like, bro, I'm not even supposed to be that.
Exactly.
And the thing is to your point, it can't just be one educational system of growth and development that translates to your place in society.
Yeah.
You know, because that's the real key part of it is you are completely on the outskirts of society if you cannot assimilate to this model.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, you know, here this has so many layers to it in and of itself because we are black men, you know. Yeah. So what it means to be a black man is something. It's set in the minds of so many different people. So now we're back to nuance because it's set in the minds is particularly through the lens of hip hop. Mm-hmm. You know, who you're supposed to be.
I was gonna say something else,
but I'm just saying that's a vein.
It's one of the main veins for black men for sure.
But
yes.
I'm going to Terrell, because when I listen to your content, like as a black man, you know, we know how we are received by our community. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But you've been in mostly white spaces. So like you're exploring kind of this personal journey of what it means to be you. And I mean, literally, I told you what I thought your tape cover said to me. It's called Black Sheep, by the way. You Black know, Sheep. It was kind of on the nose for me when I seen it. I was like, oh yeah, bro, of course. I see you communicating this. And I hear you like working through it in your music now.
Yeah. And honestly, it was because of like the George Floyd situation made me really sit with.
Yeah.
Hold on, how we being treated for real?
Yeah, bro.
I think before that, I was just so busy trying to make something of myself.
Yeah.
That, you know, I didn't really slow it down enough to address it. But even from
that's
what
the make something of myself, the story of Up From the Streets, that's a part of the black experience.
Yeah.
You know, like I came from this, I want better for myself and my family. That's like a real narrative. You know what I'm saying? And I heard that in the storytelling that you were doing, but there became the George Floyd moment said, oh no, now I need to go back and address the conditions that I came from.
Yeah. I mean, it to some degree, I'm not calling myself this character, but this is where I see it. And I reference the Bible a lot because I read it a whole lot, you know? Yeah. So, Moses, his whole situation, his ability to navigate a society that was not his own, you know, and achieve this level of stature, but have this epiphany of how this system and society I've grown in and have had success in is treating the people that look like me. There's a level of responsibility, bro. I got to go back and talk to who used to be my brother. Pharaoh was my bro. Now I have to, I need you to free my people, bro. I need your economy needs to be impacted. And that it's a tough, for me, I would say that me maneuvering in these predominantly white spaces, bro, they got a filtered but authentic expression of who I am. Like I really have thorough, fought to the ground relationships.
Filtered but authentic.
Yeah.
Because now I need to know what that means. You know, because that's I mean, you said a lot in those few words.
Yeah, filtered but authentic. There are certain things I could say to you that in other rooms would require an explanation. So, you know, instead of having to side trail this whole conversation, let me just choose I won't say dope this time. Yeah. I'm going to say that was
I thought
great.
you was going to say nigga, but, you know, I guess.
I wasn't
dope
gonna say
is
that.
where we're starting.
Well, oh, bro. I got some work emails.
Bro, I got fired from a job, bro. Legit, bro, because I was on the phone and it was a call center. So, shorty, before you could just transfer, you had to like talk to the specialist and get them on the phone. So she hits me, yo, got this person, blah, blah, blah. And I said, all right, bet, go ahead and drop that joint. But she had already dropped the thing. so the person on the phone, bro, was like, joint? Bro, this is no lie, bro. All the way up to the manager, bro, got fired, bro. Yeah. Because they really thought I was talking about
marijuana
joints, bro.
Look, bro, I've experienced it from the pastoral perspective where I was at an all-white church preaching, and I used the terminology, I was talking about Abraham as it relates to the descendants of Israel and the people of God. Abraham was everybody's OG. And I was told that someone in the audience, you know, looked at their husband and looked back and shook their head like as I said that, and they never came back to the church.
Wow.
Been at the church for a while. Just because I use that language.
Original gangster, huh?
Yeah, and I try to break it down. I said it either can mean original gangster or original, just simply original. But the choice I made was to use the language that I felt was authentic to me. no matter the cost.
Yeah.
And you look disgusted, Armond.
That stuff pisses me off so hard. It pisses me off so bad. I don't even have anything to say beyond that.
But it's a real thing we navigate.
Yeah, absolutely,
like
absolutely.
And that's why I ask about being, in white spaces, like as a rapper, because there's an exposure of blackness and
yeah. And you often talk about how much you separate the two.
Absolutely. I don't rap at church at all.
Yeah. But I mean, even you just said earlier, you referenced your corporate job.
Oh, yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
they didn't know.
Yes.
So that seems to be like a consistent theme in your life, even when we talk, offline or whatever. But like when you get into that bag, I mean, when I was in the military, they knew like I had like my captain coming to my shows and stuff. So like they knew what I was. And in hindsight, I mean, I'm 19, 20, so I just want to rap everywhere. But there was a little bit going on there. And they, hey, they would just like usher me out. Hey, we've got this young airman here, like to do a little ditty for you. Here it goes. And I'm like, yo. Just because.
The troops.
The troops.
The troops is on fire.
Troops. Yeah, troops is on fire.
And all I'm thinking about at the time, because we're talking about what motivation is, I just want to rap, and I'm thinking about what girls are going to be in the audience so I can navigate those two spaces, not realizing that in hindsight, I represented something to this group of people.
You was the black Captain America, bro. Like you was like literally, because the actual idea of Captain America in the comics was a propaganda figure to inspire the troops.
Right. Absolutely.
Wow.
So and propaganda in the military. I'm not gonna do that because I can't. But on the flip side of that, there were lots of people in my flight. I had lots of black people in my flight, and they would champion that too, because we lived in Japan, and there wasn't a big black populace on the island. And so I'm representing an aspect of culture for them. So at the same time, though I'm being trotted out, I'm also being championed by this group that are like, yo, you mean something to us. Stand on those stages and do that because it's speaking for us. That nuance and those layers are crazy to navigate. So when I see you in your space, I'm just like, what does that look? What is that? Because I was just doing it. I was doing it and didn't know that I was doing it. I didn't find it out until long after. You're in the space where you're navigating that right now.
Yeah. I've had different versions of that. In my young 20s in corporate America, it was I'm trying to make sure nobody makes it onto my Instagram or Facebook page, But I think too, to pay homage to the church environment that I am in, like a lot of the close relationships that I have with my white bros and sisters, like, some of them come from a similar context, and like, meaning like they aren't doing diversity because it's the thing to do. It's the initiative of the day. They like, nah, I come from a community where like I had black friends like in elementary school. So it's not like I'm trying to pursue this thing. I am that. So I think where I might be, it's like the Booker T, because the Booker T and W.E.B. Du Bois.
Okay.
It's the MLK and Malcolm.
Thought you were talking about the wrestler. No. My bad. That's why I started smiling.
Hulk Hogan.
No, I think in response to trauma, there's a populace of black people that are absolutely right in their feeling of standing up and being, this is how we feel, this is what we've gone through, this, and they take that approach, and white people respond one way to that. But then there's the another black populace that feels the same thing, but their approach is, all right, maybe I got a little grace to play the game,
Yes.
My bro may not be able to go as far into that territory and look over their shoulder, see the manuals. We 400 years behind anyway. I can get close enough to, oh, dang, that's how y'all do that? Oh, okay, bet. And take that back to places like, and I'm okay with me. That's my approach. And I think now, because of the hiatus from music and being very authentic in my relationship building, now that I am standing up and saying things that absolutely are weighty, because they love me. They love who I am and what I represent. They love my family. I'm sure some of them gonna be shocked and, you know, have their feelings, but I think it will lead to conversations.
Sure. It's relational at the end of the day. Like
It's relational.
it has to be that for it to travel to its fullest potential, in my opinion.
That's right.
You know, like it's I think that, like, even in the way that I present, because I would be the person who's challenging the dynamics all the time, the kinds of relationships I have built have made space for that. You know, so it's like, yes, we're here to be challenged. Yeah. You know what I mean? In that type of way. And I'm going to come to feel the conviction. You know, even if it feels like, yes, sir, may I have another? Like, you know, I like if it feels like that, like whatever. But I'm going to push it to that level, you know, because I think it is an authentic expression of who we are. I feel like we are often tasked with being contained emotionally in society, let alone in the church. You know what I'm saying? Like those are several layers of the Black experience in this world. And yet, like, I see a person like you who, like, even though you would say you didn't want people on your social media in your corporate America phase, you were still in there with blue hair. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Like, it was like, nah, you about to get this Terrell one way or another.
That's right.
You're not going to get these mixtapes, but you get in this fashion.
Yeah.
You know? And we was talking about that too, like even the design of the workforce and the work environment and, you know, business casual, and it's just like, dog, I'm wearing a hoodie to this meeting.
Nah, I came to work in Kith, some cargos and some off-whites today.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
You're getting all of this culture. Nope.
Yes. And I do my job well.
So if you say something, you're going to look crazy.
Yeah.
It's merely going to be about the presentation. Then you have to ask yourself, why do you have a problem with this presentation?
Yeah.
Like, I check all the boxes, but you don't like the fact I got a hoodie on? You
Yeah.
don't like the fact I got sneakers on?
And it takes tenure to be able to have that
Absolutely.
kind of conversation.
Yeah, you can't show up like that on your first day.
Or the call center. You can't be in the call center trying to be empowered.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, nah, bro, read the script. You know, like, like, you know, this call may be monitored for quality assurance.
Drop that joint.
Go ahead, drop that joint.
I'll never forget that, man. Never.
Oh, bro, but you be wanting to, like, you really do. Like, I'm a human. Like, I don't read, like, I don't talk like this script.
I don't talk like that.
And
Who made this script?
Who made it?
Somebody who talks to no one.
Bro. Yeah. Or someone who feels like this is polite language.
Right.
Or this is what it means to be, you know, civil and cordial and I don't know.
And then that becomes a matter of culture.
Yes.
Which presents a whole other conversation.
1,000, but that is it. That is the conversation.
Absolutely.
Is the war for culture. And what it is that we bring, it's now starting to tangibly translate into value. Like, for me, the thing that I'm on is culture is currency.
That's it.
You know, like, you can talk about our economic stature as the Black community or whatever. You can talk about the ways that we've been done wrong in all these scenarios of society, but you can never deny our contributions to culture.
That's facts.
Never. Like, that is what you steal from us, or that's what you force us into under the social circumstances. Like, George Floyd created the moments that now have made room for some of the greatest music we've ever heard from some of our top artists.
That's right.
And the rappers are rapping. And they're rapping at high levels. Like, you, bro, like, I know the difference between you just jumping on a record because you want to have fun versus I'm getting this production because I want to rap like this.
Yep.
When you as an artist, and I'm just giving game now, like, when you as an artist see yourself performing or creating at a certain level, you align yourself with that kind of quality.
Yes.
Like, you know, the mixtape, like, it's audacious to rap over mixtape beats, you know, because you feel like you belong on those beats.
Yeah.
You feel like you belong on them joints.
Yeah.
Like, and that's, to me, like, even Armond would present a track and I'm just like, man, I don't feel like I want to rap over that. I feel like that deserves its own space, and I just can't step on that.
That's always been my bag.
Yeah.
I'm not just rapping on the hot new beat because it's a hot new beat. I have to be able to say something or contribute to what that moment of creativity produced originally.
And all I wanted you to speak to was like how you enter into that mind frame of saying, I belong on this, and I want you to process and hear me that way.
Yeah. So you've heard of the imposter syndrome?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. It's a very interesting thing to explore. So like, at least in my study, a notable figure that really suffered with it is Maya Angelou. It's this internal feeling, this internal critic that no matter how much success you have, you, in any room, you feel like, man, I don't belong here. Like if they knew I didn't have this and this together, you know, all of the success would go to the wayside. They call it imposter syndrome. Okay. And so I think for me, that was something that plagued me early 20s, because I like to go back, and I think a lot of bros will rock with this, like not having a dad, period, it set me up to operate not from approval, but for approval. You know, when you got a dad at the crib and you know, hey, he gonna hold me down, it sends you off into the world differently. So I think for me, I went into the world seeking the approval, but I think in my 20s, getting to certain levels of successes, and then the quality of validation began to level me up. It wasn't like my homies gassing me up. You know, this was like, bro, I was on stage with P. Diddy's barber with 30,000 people in front of me, dog, doing hair. You know, so I wasn't rapping, but just me, the confidence I got in myself and what I bring to the table. I just graduated hair school 2 years ago. How am I here? I did it was just an interview, bro. I was an interviewer for a video project, dog. Sat down with the CEO of COSI and parlayed that into, conversations. But as a human being, it has me like, hold on, did you just hear who validated your thoughts? Did you read that paragraph he just sent you? Like, what does that dude on Instagram who lived with his mom, what does their opinion really matter in comparison to what this dude just said about you? Yeah. And so to walk in that, bro, like I really have way more empathy for people online now. Like people like I put some posts out, man, and people come out the woodwork, like just saying stuff like, I'd be like, man.
He be talking about the vaccine in one stream of stories, and then you start talking about reparations. And I was just like,
you going to what men want in a woman, and all that in the same space, back to back to back.
And that's social data. I'm sure you're getting data like in terms of response, but then you say you take it to the next level and go DM conversation if you don't agree with my perspective, and then post what that looks like. I mean, bro, like it is one of one type stuff, bro.
God bless you.
That's one of one. That's one of one, dog. Because I think your fearlessness in that way makes you that one of one.
I literally had my fear of death neutralized, bro. I've never. Remember, I think I told you. I don't know if I shared it with you. The number one clip. If I go on my YouTube stats and by number of view count, I don't think there's anything I've watched more than the mountaintop speech that MLK gave the day before he was murked, bro. Yeah. And he up there, bro, like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And he's bro, it's thousands of people out there. He said, he finishes that climax. He said, so tonight I'm not worried about any man. I'm not fearing anything. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord, bro. And he just walks away from and the next morning he shot, or the next day he shot, bro. Yeah. And so for me, 2020, like literally almost losing it all, being at a lowest low personally, my relationship, everything I felt like I had worked for, getting cut off at the knees, and making it through that, it felt like I had the three Hebrew boys in the fire. This was my fiery experience. But imagine the revelation them boys had. Like, 10 seconds in, we ain't dead? Bro, what? They come out of that different, bro. Yeah. Like, I already resolved in my mind I was going to die before I was thrown in. I survived? Yeah. And you know how? Who was in there with me? Yeah. What can you do? Do you realize killing me would actually be, where I get to go after this? Yeah. And so I think for me, not there were many times I wanted to say certain things when it would pop up, when Garner happened, when Fernando happened, when Tamir Rice happened. It was like, but I start calculating. Like, oh shoot, who could mess up my money? Okay, let me sit down.
Yeah, and that's real.
But it's like, bro, nah, I'm paying myself now. And bro, a bullet to the head, bro, would be liberating if I'm honest. I'm here. I really feel what Paul was saying, bro. Like, bro, I'd be happy to go to heaven right now. I'm here because I know there's still homies from where I come from that need support, help. They need the same light I got. But bro, I'm not about to be afraid to say what I feel, especially if I know that it's something that God said. Cause bro, you ain't really disagreeing with me. But that's,
I love this kind of stuff because particularly in the Christian space, when we talk about art, like there's such a striving to present like a, if I want to get biblical, the form of godliness with no power. You know what I'm saying? But the form is what we're typically engaging with.
Form, yeah.
The form.
Absolutely.
And it's so frustrating. And I say it with different energy now as a pastor, because I see the difference. Like, you're not that. You're not.
Yeah.
We are not. Like I'm fighting this like personal revolution to try to figure out what is the purpose and the value of Sunday mornings.
Right.
What is it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So within art, you get to I can't even put an outfit together. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't even like determine what a fashion sense is because I'm navigating all these ideas of what people think is supposed to be the right answer versus what is the right answer. We all know it is. We know what the right answer is. And if we don't know it, just as far as experience and education, we know what it feels like.
Right.
It feels different.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's the part that I always want to stay tapped into, because like that's what we were talking about, people sensing when you perform, is whether or not like the whole presentation is something that they feel like they can get down. You can make an assumption off of your first interaction with that, but then when you engage with it, it's like, oh no, this is real. There's something to this. And you can't really explain it. It's not even necessarily contained to an audience. And when you go that hard to the point where you're like, the urgency of my life now is I only get one shot at this and I don't know how much longer I have. Like that's the urgency behind creating. It comes off and people feel that.
Yep.
Rather than if you're just going through the motions, like, oh yeah, let me just give you these, these little inspirational quotes. And, even like when you try to be a bar person, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing bars for bars' sake. Rapping about rapping is Armand's famous.
Rapping about rapping.
Like,
I hate it. My style is like, my rhymes are like, just rhyme like it. Don't tell me what your rhyme is like. Yeah. Just rhyme like it.
Yeah, and tell me a story or tell me something about yourself.
Give me a gym. Give me something.
Give me something.
Give me something besides, because then I'm taking away how great your rhymes are, and that doesn't solve any problems. To your point.
Yeah, yeah. Well, bro, I mean, listen, I am, looking forward to like continue a conversation about how people are processing your latest body of work. Armand and I are on this journey of processing how people are responding to our latest body of work. And a lot of it just feels like new energy. Like even the fact that you would host like the initial invitation into this experience at one of our good friends' hookah bars. Like, I mean, there's so much being communicated in that being the space to engage, and how that night felt in past tense for y'all. Like, we're still on the heels of it, but it's just something to continue to watch in terms of how you evolve as an overall creative. Armand and I are trying to still like tap into the local scene and the culture that we can also engage with as residents of Columbus, Ohio, one of the fastest growing cities in the entire country, by the way. Like it pays to be here, like literally and metaphorically, it pays to be here. But like we are actually establishing culture spots. Like we're in a culture spot.
Yep.
We're intentional about even where we're recording this.
Right.
And so that momentum, like you've been saying it, like, you know, you've been capturing and documenting like the energy that's going on in the city. And now like you're participating in it in another vein. So I think like even like we have collective collaborative work as creatives to continue to pursue. So, I mean, just thanks for giving us some insights.
Man,
I ain't got nothing else, dog. How you feel, Armand?
We could talk for another 2 hours, but
real.
we're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
So I'm good here.
Now I will. Can I just
Where's
say
the foghorn? Like, you
Oh, is that nah?
Oh, that was the wrong.
I really believe this about my art, dog. When Rat Will Survive came out, you know, we gave that mug out for free, bro. We put it on the green CD, bro, and was passing that boy out.
That was crazy.
It was going crazy, bro. And you know, sure, many of stories within that, but there's one in particular, bro. There was a man at the time, bro. He was D-boying it, thugging it, was not young teenager, crazy, you know. And today, over a decade later, as a married husband with kids, building his wife a crib from the ground up. And that's my man, Desmond. Like, he had no idea who I was. He wasn't in church. I gave my CD, shout out Tiffany Akpan, who worked with his mom. And gave the CD to his mom, and his mom played it on the way home while he picked him up from work, bro. And he finds me on YouTube and says, and it's long, but essentially like track 2, I had to turn this way because I didn't want my mom to see the tears. Like, but I look at my music like, bro, if I put all that in for one person, bro, even with Black Sheep, even with My Beautiful Dying Marriage, like I really have resolved in my heart that when I produce and I put it on wax, it's first off here for generations to come. But even if it was for one person, bro, I know God would go to great lengths for one person. But I would encourage any artist, because I think that's usually the holdup. That's usually the holdup. How can I get this? I know it's for millions of people. It's like, bro, nah, maybe it's for one. Maybe all of that investment is for one. Are you okay with that? And, you know, but that's a whole.
I'll tell you right now, 99.9% of artists are not okay with that. And see, because now you open up another can of worms.
I'm not okay with it.
Because that's what I'm saying.
We'll
like,
give it some more minutes.
Because people say that, and when they say it, they're lying.
All right. Are you saying I'm lying?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was ready.
Yeah, because I can't do that. I know you personally, so like I'm not gonna just say, nah, I think you lie. But like they say it to compensate for various reasons, but they say it to compensate for maybe them not getting the response. A lot of artists, Christian artists, who are essentially independent artists, they have this expectation. And a lot of us, then we didn't even get into that, but like working through the, I guess, trauma or whatever of unmet expectations. Because when we got into this space, there was a pathway of success, and most of us didn't make it, especially those of us who hung on to our particular, our Rapidy Rap banner or whatever banner. We wasn't trying to go down that lane. We wasn't trying to replicate what Reach was doing. And we wasn't trying to, and even on the other end, we wasn't trying to replicate what Humble Beast was doing. It's like, here are the two ends, the two extremes. I'm not in either one of these. So I'm kind of in this space, and to a degree I suffered, or my expectations were, because then you get into prophetic words and other things where like greatness and all this other stuff. And it's like, well, this isn't great because there's only 8 people at this show. This isn't great. And so then usually the outcome of that is people saying, well, if I could just touch one person, like, no, you don't really believe that, dog. Like you want to touch a lot of people, at least more than one. And even to this day. Yeah. So here's a more realistic turn, and then I'll unleash, but like, I'm newly married, and I got 4 kids, including an 8-month-old. So anytime I'm leaving the house, it better be of some sort of value. And this is something that you and I talked about extensively while we were creating Pressure. We were talking about that. So I always, and I kind of take what you said when people ask me like, yo, somebody just asked me today, like, oh, I got this event. How much should I charge? And I'm like, well, how much do you value getting up and leaving the house? You know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever you'd rather be doing. Yeah. I like being at home. Yeah. I love my house. My house is dope. I like being there. So, if I'm creating this project, if I'm doing COVID community, if I'm doing Black Jones White Sox, if I'm in here talking to you, if I'm paying money for all this stuff, and I only get X amount of likes and X amount of views, and I only make X amount of money, nah, dog. Because for all that, I just could have been at the house. Yeah. And instead of spending that money on, paying or creating this content or whatever, like, now I could have just bought a pair of sneakers. I could have just bought, you know what I'm saying? I could have went shopping for myself. Yeah. So there's all these layers of things that we're working through. So for you to come out there, I believe you because you're my man and I believe you. But 99% of the times when I hear that from other people, I don't believe it. I think it's a lie.
That's fair. And let me just say, I don't aim at just impacting one person. I think it has the ability to reach a lot of people. I've just resolved that if it doesn't, I'm not tethering my value personally as an artist, as a human being, or even the quality of that project to how it responded to people in real time. That's, I'm just cool with that. You said I'm absolutely not okay with it. Where's the numbers?
No, I mean, it's like, you do kind of, at least I'll speak for myself, like you have a vision of, what hard work translates to. What kinds of results. If you're working on your craft, you're working on your music, you're trying to get better, you're trying to create songs, like you're thinking of people who can connect with this lyric or this story or whatever. I'm definitely not just thinking about one person or the outcome of that being if I touched one person on a deep level, then I feel like I've accomplished my mission in life. And I don't say that to demean that mentality, because like Armond said, like a lot of times it's done in reaction to circumstances beyond your control. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a genuine. You haven't prepared your heart for that outcome. You're just now trying to deal with it. Yeah, so it's like when in any kind of form of performance art, when you share it for mass consumption, then you've left the, kind of the between me and God, this was great. You know what I'm saying? It's mass consumption time. Yeah. I put it out. I put it on streaming services. That's right. I put it on social media. I share it with the homies. I sat with the aux cord in the car and said, check this joint out, sent drafts. Nah, fam, like there are now all of these different ways that you've connected with certain kinds of outcomes. So I don't while I know for you for a fact, like the depth of the impact with an individual connection to like a record or the whole body of work, knowing Desmond and knowing how that relationship is still impactful now. I know that was like assignment from God type of stuff. I understand that. I also know that you standing in front of 2,000 people would be incredibly live. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I would want that for you, because of the level of artist that I see you as and the time and attention that you pay into performance art. You know what I'm saying? Like it deserves, and to me, it's almost like seeing a mechanism that's not working properly to say like, oh yeah, that's for 3 people. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, oh no, something's wrong here.
That's fair.
Like this deserves to be in front of 10,000 for it to be seen in its proper light.
That's right.
I think the best of my artistry is still in front of me. Yeah. To that point, like I absolutely see that for myself. I've had to, just my personality, if I fantasize about that part, that will be what I'm focused on.
Which is what most of us do. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we get let down. That's why depression and all that stuff comes with creativity. It's neck and neck with creativity, bro. Like because we're still processing how it's received, or, you know, what our expectations are. Like, you know, Armond and I are talking about that now. Like,
Exactly. I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my ish.
Yeah, bro.
It is what it is.
Yeah, and my thing is like, yo, I want you, if you're gonna critique it, I want to be able to respect your critique.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what we talked about last time, is like, in the Christian vein, it's like, do I respect the way Christians treat art? You know, therefore, how you judge something that I am now presenting to you.
Yeah.
Pearls before swine.
Do you even know who Mike Jones is?
If I say 281-330-8004, do you know what that is? That's a great point. Most people will be like, was that your childhood phone number or something?
Right.
Like,
But bro, people, like we talked about last time, people don't even know what a mixtape is. You feel me? Like, so who are you? End of the day, bro, I'll tell you, you know, for me and for Armond, we see the quality of your art in a different category than, you know, just like the typical way to consume art. You know what I'm saying? So this is why we rock with you. This is why we continue on this journey together. This is why we continue to cultivate culture here in our city for the purposes of the kingdom. We get all of that. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I would tell you if I thought that you couldn't rap. You know what I'm saying? So keep rapping, keep putting the weights up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just never stop writing. Like you say, never stop dating. I say never stop writing.
It's fair.
You know what I mean? Like, especially if you documented history for your family. You know, those polls on Instagram, hopefully those translate into content. You know, like,
we got some content, boy. Oh boy.
Yeah. It's nothing's wasted. So appreciate you just sitting down, talking to us, man, and just doing what we normally do.
It's an honor. I respect both of you, bros, for real. Like, I'll say this for your, you know, community's sake. Like, I look at you guys. You were someone so pivotal in my faith. Like, when I first came right out the spiritual womb, if you will. Mm-hmm. You know, you was the nurse on duty. You know, that visual. But nah, like I remember, like, the person who first baptized. I remember those pivotal, and you were just that relationship, especially a few years older, like young 20-something, like having a reference point. Like, yo, he in church with J's on. Okay, I can do this.
It's that simple, ain't that crazy?
It's very simple.
Absolutely.
If you would have had Stacey Adams on in a suit, bro, it would have been tough. And I think but
it's real.
It validated how I felt. And Armond, I think your appreciation for nuance is what makes you rare, bro. We talked earlier about people who are quickly to classify and write that off. You're be like, well, hold on. If you move it this way, though, do you see, you know, and to pay attention to that. That's why I really respect your opinion. Even when I have a different one, I know you don't just put words out there that you don't believe or that you haven't really processed. So I respect your filter. And so, yeah, shout out COVID community, you know.
Dope. All right. Well, listen, thank y'all for kicking it with us. Man, more to come. This is episode 2 of season 2, and I think we off to a good start, bro.